everybody. Nice to be back with you again. Thank you very much to Julia for the invite. So I'm here to talk about how you can manage your cash flow. And as we come out of here, it's going to be very important that we consider very carefully the impact of the sales that we make have on our bottom line. Now, not every sale is created equal. Every sale we make is a risk that we take, the risk of not being paid, but the level of risk will be different for each sale. As we come out of lockdown, there are going to be a lot of businesses out there who are struggling, and we will see a lot of business failures over the next few months. So there will be people out there that really need what you do or what you sell in order for them to continue to trade, but they actually can't afford it. So you need to think of whether you want to sell to them at all. Is the risk too big versus the amount of money you could make from that to the margin? Or are there alternative ways for you to be able to say yes? So things like breaking an order down into smaller chunks, say for products. So, and then you can make sure you're paid for the first proportion of it before you ship any more. For services, it's about getting payment up front, or if it's for a longer project, getting stage payments along the way, and thinking about how you find out that information. So are you doing credit checks? Are you asking around? What sort of conversation you're going to have with that client to establish really whether they can afford what they're asking to buy. The next stage would be to be very clear in how you want to trade with somebody. So this is going to back to your terms and conditions, and I'm making an assumption here that you all have terms and conditions. But the key here is to make sure that A, that they're fit for purpose, and B, that you use them for every transaction. Don't rely just on trust alone. Having terms and conditions is not about not trusting somebody. It's about being very clear on what the expectations are for both parties, and it's about being setting out the complete details so that there is no misunderstandings. There's no he said, she said, or I thought you meant this, or I thought you meant that. It enables you to set some very clear outcomes that you can both be measured against. So, the outcome we all know is that you will pay us 14 days from date of invoice, whatever that your terms are. And the outcomes that the client can expect from you is things like when you will deliver, the level of care you will take over what you're doing, those sorts of things. So it's really important that you have checked your terms over, that you've had them reviewed to make sure that they take into account any changes you've made to adapt to COVID-19 and any of those changes that will be permanent going forward. And finally, the last thing is about being informed, and that's about creating a cash flow forecast and updating it regularly. And by regularly, I don't mean once a month or even once a week. I'm talking about it daily, preferably. It might seem like a chore, but your cash flow forecast is your biggest tool to give you an early warning of any trouble ahead. So if you know that you're going to have a cash flow gap in a week or 2 weeks' time, you can make plans to deal with that gap rather than finding yourself standing on the precipice of staring into an empty bank account. So Blaine Birch actually does a really good analogy about this in his book Pandemic Cash Flow, and he talks about cash flow as being cash flow forecast as being a lighthouse, and your business is a ship and you are the captain of that ship. So that lighthouse is flashing every few seconds and warning you of rocks or shallow ground. If that warning light is only happening once every 5 minutes, you're going to get closer to that danger before you know that it's there. So you have less time to react to it. If it's only flashing every half an hour, then actually you've got to be so super focused as the captain on looking at that point that you would not miss it. If there's any fog, if there's any distractions, then there's every chance that you'd never see it. And if it only flashed once a week, well, you're relying on blind luck at that point. So creating and maintaining a cash flow forecast is an essential tool for your business to make sure that it can navigate properly out of COVID-19. So that's me, Nicki Kinton from Confident Cashflow. If you'd like to get in touch, you can do so via my website. That's confidentcashflow.com. And I would really love it if you would sign up to our mailing list so that you can receive updates and useful info and resources directly to your inbox. So thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.